Hello all and welcome back. And it's finally time to dig into talking about the whole novel's resources. So at this point in the training, I hope that you have already looked at the document that outlines all of the different steps in whole novels, including watching all the little videos that were embedded in that document. I also hope that you've taken a look at the document that outlines the different types of response notes that the kids can take while they're reading. And I also hope that you've looked at the student resource. That's the version of that, the response notes. And then I also hope that you've taken a look at the sample reading schedule. Now what I want to show you is what does this look like in the curriculum. Okay, so here I am in the Unit 1 folder. Okay, remember here's those three documents that all kind of do the same thing. Here's your assessments folder, and now here's the whole novels resources folder. If you remember in the other video we skipped this one, well now we're going to dig into it. Okay, now when we open it up, we can see that the very first thing is a little document that tells you what your whole novel's choices are for this unit. If you remember that you can choose from a variety of novels as long as they fit the theme of the unit and as long as they're a BCPS approved novel. So these are some suggestions here. You might have some other novels in your book room that you feel like would also satisfy the theme of this unit. That's perfectly fine as long as you've made sure that the students have not read the book before. Okay, so that gives you your list right there. Then there's a folder that'll say whole novels, resources for Unit 1, for Unit 2, for Unit 3. When we go in here, all of this folder in every unit looks the same. The very first thing here is that document that you just looked at that outlines how you do whole novels, the different steps to whole novels. Okay, then here's your response notes teacher resource, and then here's your response notes student resource, and then down here is that sample reading schedule. Okay, so all of those documents appear in every single unit. Also within this resource folder, there's a sample letter that you can give to the students during the ritual launch, which will explain what their expectations are for the whole novel study for the unit. I have up here that this is just a sample letter. Please modify it to meet the requirements that you're giving to your students in any given unit. Okay, so you can modify it any way you want. Here's the materials that they're receiving, and then here are the response notes that you'll be requiring throughout that unit of study, whatever particular unit it is. Okay, and remember that you are perfectly fine to modify this to meet the needs of your students and the needs of the novel that they're reading. Okay. There is also a little letter to parents. It's called a letter to parents. It's not really a letter. It's really more just recommendations for what they can do to support their students in their reading. This might be a document also that you could provide to parents during back to school night. And then the other thing that's here is a way that you can score response notes as you're keeping check of the students as they're reading through. By the way, when you download these resources, they don't look like this. They look like a regular document, like, all the formatting and everything will be okay if you download it and print it. But when they come up on Schoology, sometimes like this, the formatting is off. But anyway, it's like a little score sheet that you can use for evaluating the students as they're reading and as you're checking their response notes as they're going along, okay, so that you can keep check on how they're doing while they're reading. Remember, we're not just throwing them, out to the wolves, go read. We're making sure that we're following along with them and we're keeping check on how they're doing. Okay, so that's that folder, the whole novels resources, and that's in every single unit. This is just in Unit 1. These are a couple PowerPoints here that you can take a look at. This is another training one for teacher use that explains whole novels a little bit and how it works. And then this one explains the different discussion rounds or the discussion seminars. This is teacher use or student use. If you want to show it to your students to help them understand what they're going to be doing, go right ahead. Those PowerPoints only exist here in Unit 1. Okay, then within every unit, there are 2 whole novels lessons. Actually, I'm wrong. There are 2 whole novels lessons in Units 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. They don't exist in Unit 4 because if you've taught the whole novels lessons through Unit 1, 2, and 3 by Unit 4, what the kids can do is just pull all of that information together. But basically what these lessons are going to do is they're going to teach the kids how to do the various response notes. Okay, so you're not just going to tell them, here, go do a critical response note and send them off. You're first going to teach them how to do it. So here in Unit 1, in Lesson 1, we teach the foundational response notes, which are the literal, inferential, and critical notes. And this is a lesson that teaches the kids how to do that, what kind of thinking that is, and how to take the different notes. So it teaches it to them and gives them practice. So after they've had their practice and they've learned this, then they can transfer that as they're reading the novel. Okay, and then Lesson 2 is the foundational lesson for vocabulary notes. Okay, and how they're going to be paying attention to words as they're reading, and what might be some words that they're encountering that they don't know, and what are they going to do to help them figure out those words. So this is a lesson that will walk them through how to take those kind of notes. So the 3 different types of thinking that we teach in Lesson 1, they're called the open response notes, and then the vocabulary notes. They're kind of like the foundational, basic, whole novels response notes that the students take. So if you teach those 2 to the kids and they use those 2 all year long, that's absolutely fantastic. And you'll know that the lessons for teaching those foundational notes are here in Unit 1. Okay? Then here's a folder with mini project ideas for Unit 1, and as you know, the mini project will come somewhere midway in the teaching of the novel, and the kids will explore some aspect of the novel together. What we have here are some lessons that came from the legacy curriculum that, of course, you know was Roll of Thunder, but these are lessons that you might be able to tweak to fit any of the novels that the kids might be reading, and these might work very well as mini project ideas. Okay, but there's other mini project ideas listed here as well that are kind of just more generic ones. Okay. Then there is a folder here that's full of resources for class discussion. As you know, whole novels will culminate in the discussion rounds. Some of you might be a little bit nervous about doing class discussion, so here's a whole bunch of resources for you to take a look at. Here's some different articles for helping you organize your classroom, and here's some other resources that you can use for teaching the students how to have a discussion and also how to go about grading their discussions. Okay, so again, that folder exists in every single unit. Okay, so that is what we have for you for the whole novels resources. And the other thing that I want to remind you is that within every lesson, remember, you get a little idea of what it is you should be doing at a particular time during the unit of instruction. These are not etched in stones. These are Hersey's suggestions, just as suggestions for you, but just to kind of keep reminding everybody as you're going along, this is how, you know, the whole novels could be fitting in with what you're doing. Okay, so that's within every lesson. All right, hopefully that helps you feel a lot more comfortable with using whole novels, and I also hope that you're really excited about it too. I think the kids will really, really enjoy reading their novels in this particular format.